Before I go to the gym, I was just going through my DMs. My DMs are always blowing up. There's always a ton of DMs, and I got a message from this guy who's starting a personal brand, right? And he says, I have this other business that's making money. I want to do a personal brand too. He's like, I don't want to make a course, but I want to scale somehow. And he's like, I just hate, all these people that are fakers and this and that. And then I go to his profile, and I'm like, dude, like this guy's profile looks like everybody else's does, right? Like there's nothing different about it. And in the bio it says, I help you start an online business and I won't sell you a course. And I was like, didn't you say that you wanted to make a course? And like, look, there's no hard feelings here. This is a kid that's like just wanting to do this because he's seen someone else do it, and that's fine. But I think the most important thing to understand is for anybody that is thinking, I want to start a personal brand, that's usually thought of in the way of like, I have a result with something, or I'm really good at something, so I'm going to build up a page so that I can, sell something later on. But in reality, almost everybody has a personal brand. Some people just don't utilize it. They don't post, they don't share a lot. Because even if you have 100 followers on Instagram or 5 friends on Facebook, that's still you. That's what people see you as. That's what people perceive you as, because that's what you're putting out to the world. We have this decision. We have the ability to put out what we want to, and then other people can perceive that as whatever. So the biggest thing with a personal brand is just, okay, if you are going to amplify, if you are going to do it, like, I wouldn't be making a new account, a separate identity. It should just be you, because you are the variable. And nobody can replicate that. And what I had as a learning lesson last year that I definitely, I noticed a lot of other people doing in this space, and I even found myself guilty of it to a certain degree, was that the thing that's worked the best for me is what I've realized is that I can look at other people in the space or in other niches, etc., and I can look at them and say, okay, I like the way they're doing this, or I like the way they do this in their business, and I can apply these different things into what I do myself. But the second I try to emulate this person, and a lot of people do this unknowingly, they try to emulate someone by saying, this guy is crushing it. I love the way his Instagram is. He's super popular. I'm going to start dressing like him, talking like him, making my content like him. And people just completely emulate these others when that's really not something sustainable, because it's not you, and it can be very noticeable. So I don't know what my exact plan was with making this video. I just got that DM and I wanted to talk about it, because a personal brand too doesn't have to be attached to this big outcome or result. Not every personal brand is attached to something money related. The way that I got here personally is kind of like a random situation almost. The first way I made money was with these Instagram theme pages, and then I started drop shipping on there. And then I went to this trip in Miami, and a friend that I met there had started a YouTube channel documenting his own theme pages and e-com stuff he was doing, and he's like, you should too. I started doing it, my channel started getting subscribers, and then I kind of got pulled into this, this is so cool, right? And especially when you're 16 years old and you're just you're getting popular online, you're getting attention online, that's the best thing a 16-year-old could ever get, right? And then it's something that I kind of leaned out of. And then, had some personal things that I was just figuring out that I had to figure out, because, again, at 16 years old, no proper guidance, making a little bit of money, traveling a little bit for the first times, being around all these things I had never had or experienced, coming from a smaller town in North Carolina, to then, being around all this stuff that I once dreamed of and had only seen on the internet, and not knowing what to do with myself, which led to, bad habits and vices, things that just were not good for me, especially at a young age. So, there was a couple-year period where I had to just basically get out of that. And, I don't feel like I really came alive in myself as an adult until, over 2 years ago in 2022, where I really just dialed myself in with the things that I felt I was lacking in, with the bad habits, the vices, and clear myself up physically, which then went to mentally, and then came up with all these different ideas. I just felt like for so long I had suppressed this, creative edge inside of me, and also this just talking, these ideas right now that are flowing from my mind that I'm saying right now in this video are things I wouldn't have been able to do in the past, because I felt too suppressed, whether that was by drinking, smoking, or other people's opinions, or a lack of confidence in myself. These are the things that were suppressing me for so long. And I would try to get results and do stuff and basically just like skip this personal development work, where in reality that's where I figured out, okay, well, here's the truth. Like, what I need to work on is myself, because the results that I'm looking for, the answers to getting that, is inside of the personal development work I'm avoiding. I didn't realize for so long, like, I needed to be a good version of me before I could be a good something else. And I feel like this message is very, very much missing from, younger people, especially right now, like in this space. A lot of it is, seemingly make-believe or fictional, where it just looks like you can skip that stuff because it's not attractive, it's not sexy. Nobody wants to click on a personal development video. Nobody wants to, if you have addictions, an addict is not going to say, you know what, you're right, I'm going to stop doing this right now. And an addict's going to deny it, justify it, and, have resentment towards someone that calls them out towards it. But I want to be the one to say it to people that are like how I was, because like I was the same way. Like, oh, I just use it at night, or it helps me be more creative, or, just let me live my life. And like now I just realize like how flawed of a mindset I really had with that, because it impacted not just me, but everybody else around me. My friends, my family, people that I did business with. Like, it impacted every single thing around me and kept me down for so long, and it's all my own fault. And this happens to a lot of young people, and a lot of them don't really like take it into account. They don't believe it necessarily, but the time just keeps passing by. When you're faded, the time goes by quick, and you'll go a year, 2 years, 3 years, and be like, man, I haven't made any progress. What happened? And then some people will get into responsibilities, especially like around my age. Maybe they'll get married, maybe they'll have kids, and then they really don't change. They really just keep the same things, because now it's harder to take risks. There's more responsibilities that are on the plate that have to be taken care of and paid attention to. Otherwise, who knows what could happen? Bad stuff. And that's something I've realized now, is that as a kid, I would want to grow up and be an adult, but now I realize a lot of adults, they ain't got it figured out either. And I don't think anybody has it fully figured out, but I know that for me, the best thing I could do is just be the best version of myself as I can. If I have something in my mind that's speaking to me, that's telling me I should do this, or I should do that, or I should say something, then I follow that. Otherwise, then I just, basically am not being true to myself and honest with myself. So that's why a video like this, or like the conversation I had with that kid there that's wanting to start his personal brand, I think he has good intentions. I really think he has a good heart, if what he was telling me is the truth. But it's that there's this like overwhelmingly big sense in the space of like everybody's out to get me kind of vibe. But really, everybody's not out to get you. Like, I think anybody who's paying attention to someone who makes money online or does this or does that should just do their due diligence on the person, right? Like what are they actually doing? So I can even bring up here, I just got an email from Warren. We gave him a TikTok and some digital products that we had that were working, and we put on the back burner that we did a little giveaway for. He's having trouble getting into the TikTok. We'll have to send him the code. Anyways, I'll get to that in a second. I wanted to show you this. So just imagine for a second, like, you could start something, and for example, yesterday, this store here, like, I'll show you, this is not, I went to this page because it doesn't show the name, but you could see $1,419.29. This is a digital product store on Shopify. And the thing is, the results aren't as uncommon as you might think. I think there is a lot of liars out there, a lot of people who will adjust to the trends, a lot of people that, they don't have the right intentions. And it's not my place to judge them. I'll let the higher up do that. But I will step up and speak up for people that I feel are being misled or taken advantage of. I think my biggest thing that I'm trying to implement right now into everything that I do is that, I leverage different things for marketing, like the cars or whatever. Like, these are things that get attention, they get eyeballs. But like, once you're here, my goal is to then like say, hey, look, now we've built a little bit of rapport. You know a little bit about who I am, what I do, but ultimately, like, I want you to be the best version of you and attain freedom through digital products, right? Like, if you have a skill set and you want to monetize it, let's do it. If you want to just drop ship digital products that are already made, let's do it. But in that process, I'm going to teach it in a way and lead with these things that I do myself that have changed my life. And not everybody's going to vibe with it. Not everybody's going to do it. But the best thing I can do is keep the promise that I made. So, like, on my Instagram, I promise everybody, like, I'm not going to miss a day. Every day on my Instagram stories, I'm documenting my day. I'm working out, doing my morning walk, like, doing all these things that are so easy to not do. It would be so easy, in theory, for me to just leave my phone down and not post anything for a day, right? Like, what is a day? Like, nobody's really going to care. You probably aren't going to care. My mom's not going to care. She probably wouldn't even notice. Like, people probably aren't paying as attention, as maybe you would think. But for me, this gives me like a purpose, right? Where I know I'm just not going to miss. So maybe you look at my Instagram stories today and you're like, this is dope. But then, maybe you don't see my Instagram stories for a month, but they pop up in a month and you're like, damn, he's still at it. He's still going every day. He's still doing these things. He's still progressing. He's still learning. He's still helping more people. There are, like, the thing is growing. Like, that's my intention here, because I know consistency wins, right? As long as you're doing the right things, because a lot of people are consistently doing the wrong things. Everybody's consistent at the end of the day. You consistently use this bathroom. You consistently drive this way to this place. You consistently eat the wrong foods. But, like, there's things we all do that are consistent. It's just some things are good for us and some things are bad for us and some things are irrelevant. Like, what does it matter what bathroom we use, right? But the things that are more important is, what are you consistently putting in your body? Can you control the things you put in your mouth? If you can, that's probably a problem. So, and are you consistently putting off this project, saying, oh, I'm going to start it tomorrow, I'm going to do it tomorrow? Or are you consistently saying, you know what, this is here right now, I'm going to take action on it immediately, and I'm going to have this, maniacal sense of urgency to get this stuff done? Or am I not? And that's a skill set in itself. And I think in order to, I think it's different for everybody, like, as far as, like, freedom. What is freedom to you? Maybe that's just making more than you make with your job. Maybe it's just being able to live your life without having to work for somebody else. Maybe it's you need $10 million a year plus. You need to build a big company. You need to do this. You do that. I think it is different for everybody, but there is no better feeling than just having this ability to wake up and do what you want to do, and do the right things, though. Like, doing the right things is the way to go. So I was talking to some people inside of DDM yesterday, and I was like, man, we're talking about some of these things. Someone had asked me, like, how often I smoked in the past. Like, I used to smoke every day, but at nighttime. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, I do too. It helps me be more creative. I was like, yeah, everybody justifies it, but you're creative too without it. Like, it doesn't maybe make you more creative. Like, you are a creative person even without it. And while it's not my job to tell them you need to quit or this or that, I'm just leading from my own experience and what I had to do. But for me, I knew it was a problem when I would wake up, and instead of thinking of ideas and feeling good and ready to, like, go crush it and keep scaling and this and that, I would wake up be thinking, man, I can't wait till it's nighttime so I can binge eat and so I can smoke and get faded and then fall asleep in this coma-like state and then redo. Basically just escaping the reality I had created for myself. But imagine you could create a reality for yourself where you're confident, you look good, you feel good, you do good, you help people, you make money, you can take care of your family. Like, I don't know, like, when I bought my mom the car a couple months ago, the F-Type, people were like, how did it feel? It's going to be, like, the best feeling ever. And, like, honestly, there wasn't, like, this overwhelming feeling of, this is amazing, like this big release or anything like that. It's kind of just a part of this overall, like, energy and lifestyle I'm living on a day-to-day basis. I really did not feel, when I bought the car, I did not feel, oh, this is amazing. When I gave the car to my mom, I wasn't like, oh, I feel so good about myself. it really was nothing like that. It was kind of like, all right, well, this is another step in my journey, another part of my life. This is cool, and I'm going to keep going on because there's more and more to do. It's never going to be enough. I have that mindset of like, I just want to keep building, and I have certain goals I want to hit, and like that's what's going to happen. So, this type of mindset and is just, I think, what's helped me so much from like basically having this like upward spike, having some issues personally, like I told you about earlier in this video, that things that it's my own fault. I got around the wrong environments. I didn't control myself. I didn't know what I was doing. To like a downhill, to little spikes, down, to then just like, all right, Tanner, you don't have anything crazy going on. You're like barely making it by. You still don't like the way you look in the mirror. So how are you gonna have confidence in anything else if you don't like the way you look? Okay, cool. Let's work on that. It took a long time. It's not an easy thing to break things you've done for your whole life. And you go from there. Like I literally feel these have been the best last 2 years of my life because like the last 2 years have been the best years of my life because I kept in mind the personal habits of myself. And look, guys, I know it's not sexy. It's not fun, but I want to make it fun. I want to normalize it. I want to integrate it in our community because like the people that have gotten the biggest wins in our community are people that also keep these things in mind as well. Because it's very difficult to, at least for a long time, make profit with something, build something big, something that can operate successfully if you are a spiral, like a downward spiral. So, I think this video started because of something with personal brands and this message I got from this guy. But I'm going to go to the gym now, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. And by the way, go follow me on Instagram if you want. Shoot me a message, we can connect. But that's where I post my stuff every day. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a big like, comment, subscribe. Peace!